is Badruddin Samsumin Sultan, and in this video, I am going to answer these questions. So the first question is to choose a sub-branch of geography, which we have the two branches of geography, the human geography and the physical geography. So I have chosen the human geography because it is my favorite subject, and the two sub-branches that I have chosen in human geography is the cultural geography and the historical geography. So why I have chosen the cultural geography? The cultural geography talks about cultural landscapes, diffusion of culture, and globalization. So the thing here in cultural geography, why I have chosen this is, even before when I was a senior high school student, I have always been into cultures. I really love cultures. I love exploring other cultures, their witchcrafts, their traditions. I really want to study them, especially those past cultures that were forgotten and weren't talked about here, weren't talked about in the modern era. So I want to know them. If I could have just time travel, I would spend everything to time travel and explore other culture. But sadly, there is no time travelers. So the thing also about here in the cultural geography, which got into my mind that I really chose the cultural geography. I really love studying cultures, so I want to promote having empathy on other culture. But it's really sad for me that whenever I scroll on social media, you cannot avoid seeing people discriminating other culture, talking bad about other culture. They don't reflect on themselves, whether it is Christian or it is a Muslim. They talk about other culture while not reflecting on themselves. So I don't want that. I don't want to promote people discriminating other culture. If I would become a successful social studies teacher in the future, I would teach my students to have empathy on other culture, and I would teach them how it feels to get discriminated or to get your own culture discriminated by other people's culture, other people's culture. So if you don't want your own culture getting discriminated by other culture, might as well not discriminate their culture or not talk bad about their culture, and try to understand their cultures, their ways, their traditions, customs, and belief. Why were they like that? And yeah. But if I have realized that if I want change, I should start with myself so that I can make a change. And moving on with the second sub-branch that I have chosen is the historical geography. The historical geography really quenches my mind and my curiosity, because historical geography talks about the past landscapes. So in past landscapes, I want to know how Egyptians were able to build a massive pyramid in their times, in their era. How were they able to build massive pyramids in those period of times? So how are they able to build that without an advanced technologies that helps them build those pyramids? Yeah, so that is why it really clinches my mind. So in past landscapes, there were also here topics here in historical geography, which we have the past landscapes before, that whenever I am scrolling on TikTok because I really like scrolling on TikTok, spending my time on TikTok. So I can see there is this one mountain that was believed that it was scratched by a massive lion. So if we observe that, type of landscape, that mountain, it really looks like it was a trace of cloth. So I want to know everything about that. If I could have just time travel, I would spend my money to time travel and try to learn that, to know everything about that. Like, is it true or it's not true? The second question is, if you were not a social studies teacher, what would be your chosen field of work and why? So I think before, uh, before I have told this with my friends, classmates, and teachers that I want to be a social worker. But before I have decided on being a social worker, um, I really have the dream of being an architecture. So, what the School of Architecture, which we have the University of Mindanao, was really far to my home, so I wouldn't be able to see my mom. So that is why I have chosen the social studies now. But my second option was social work. If I weren't a social studies, I would be a social worker because during senior high school we have experienced the work immersion for 10 days, and that type of activity, that type of subject has got me a prior knowledge that it got me thinking that being a social worker isn't just about sitting inside an office and filling out papers, getting stressed, but it is also about exploring. So the reason why I want to become a social worker before is that it is really saddening that whenever you're scrolling to social media, you can see those people whenever there are typhoons, there were floods, there were things that are happening to them. So especially in rural places, in marginalized areas, it is really sad that they weren't able to receive an immediate rescue or immediate help from the government. So I want to help them. I want to become a social worker to help them, and try to make a change on their living. And the thing also about social work is that I want to explore rural areas, marginalized areas, and try to observe their culture, since I am also into culture. So I want to explore their cultures. I want to know about their backgrounds. How were they able to live in those places? And yeah, I think social work is really a good work. But I think I can see myself more on being a social studies teacher. So I think that is all. Once again, my name is Badruddin Sultan, and thank you. Bye.